Hi, this is Dutch Pachinik, and the announcement was made that we're pulling out of Afghanistan after 20 years of failure, incompetency, and arrogance, both by our civilian leaders and our military leaders. This war in Afghanistan mirrored literally the incompetency, arrogance of the civilian and military leaders in Vietnam. So, really, we hadn't learned anything. Now, why can I say that? Well, number one, I was involved in the withdrawal of troops and ambassadors from Vietnam, and also in 1979, I had the privilege of going into Afghanistan and to take over the body of Spike Dubs, who was assassinated by the Russians because of a mistake that one of our Foreign Service officers made. And I came back and I flew into Iran. And at that point in the Carter administration, I saw the Russians in Iran who said to me, get out of Iran, don't even come in here because you're going to be caught by the Mujahideen. Anyway, be it as it may, I warned the Carter administration of it. They sent back people into Iran, and that led to the Iran hostage siege. The reason I'm saying this is that through civilian and military control, and no matter which administration, over 40, 50 years, we have nothing but incompetent generals, incompetent civilians, and absolutely absurd strategies to go to war. We don't win a war. We haven't won a war since Vietnam, Korea, Afghanistan, Iraq. Now, a decision was made, however it was made, to pull our troops out of Afghanistan. That is an important decision. Number one, we should never have been in Afghanistan because George Bush Jr. decided that, quote, we were attacked by Osama bin Laden, a fictitious character whom he reified, and Catherine Bigelow made a whole movie about in Zero Dark 30. Osama bin Laden was nothing more than an operative working for the agency, grew up in Saudi Arabia. His father was from Yemen, and he had Marfan syndrome. Now, why is that important? Because Abraham Lincoln had Marfan syndrome, and already by the time that Bush had lied that Osama bin Laden created 9/11, Osama was already dead or dying out of Marfan. In turn, we had what we call chickenhawks. Cheney, Rumsfeld, Condoleezza, Colin Powell all decided that we needed a war for reasons that were never clear. So we went to war in Afghanistan, a country which is replete with incredible geographical impediments, mountains that you cannot climb or even near or travel through. Secondly, through a country that isn't really a country but is broken up into factions of Pashtun, Tajik, and Uzbeki, and all kinds of tribes that are not located in any one particular area. Ironically, we, the United States, had supplied the Muslim terrorists that we claim are now throwing us out, the Taliban, with the weapons that were needed because when Russia invaded Afghanistan, we decided we would ally ourselves with the Taliban. And the Taliban was created and developed by a gentleman by the name of Zalmay Halizard, who worked for me. He also worked for the CIA. He was in policy planning in the administration and claimed that he would be the one to negotiate a peace in Afghanistan. What he didn't tell you is that he, as an Afghani, created the war in Afghanistan in order to perpetuate the military-industrial complex. He became wealthy. The other neocons associated with Zalmay Halizard, who started the 9/11 false flag, including Hadley, Pearl, Wolfowitz, a whole bunch of others, became exceedingly wealthy. So you have the name of an individual who created that war. That war cost us about 5,000 to 7,000 American lives, not counting hundreds of thousands of Afghani who lost their lives because they were terrorized, arrested, or in some other way tortured. At the same time, we felt that we had to maintain a presence there because our military strategists, such as they are, none of whom really had any combat experience, none of whom really understood strategy or tactics, they decided we should remain there because we could always win a war eventually. That was not true. We had Stanley McChrystal, who was a joke of a general. Then we had Petraeus, who claimed he had gone to war when he hadn't. And of course, he seduced his biographer and became famous for that. And then we had General Mattis, who claimed he was an intellectual, and I found him to be an incompetent general and an incompetent intellectual. In short, we Americans have paid $2 trillion, but more importantly, we have spent many lives fighting wars that we could never win. Vietnam, Korea, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Somalia, Sudan. Let me quote the following song. What is war good for? Absolutely nothing. Good night and good luck.